But there's a number of areas you really need to start considering seriously. One of the key ones is return on investment. A quick show of hands, can I ask how many of you in here have ever actually sat down and worked out what it costs you to do a tender? Not a lot. Too many businesses chase tenders without ever thinking, what's the cost impact of that? We've done tenders before and we've done that type of assessment, and we know that it can quite easily go into 5 figures to take part in a tender exercise. If you talk to some of the bigger companies here who may have taken part in competitive dialogue processes, some of the competitive dialogues that have been run in the public sector are going into 7 figures. We're talking over £1 million in terms of cost. So you need to start thinking, what am I looking at in return on investment? How many tenders am I chasing a year and I'm losing? How much is it costing me, and what do I actually need in terms of profit in a year from other contracts that I win to break even, never mind make a profit? And you could be quite frightened by some of those numbers, because a lot of small businesses chase so many opportunities. You don't focus in on the ones you can win. And it's something that's very important to start targeting the market where you think you have a really good chance, rather than using the scattergun approach to chase everything. Think about what I term the glass ceiling. Now, those of you who are already taking part in procurement will know that it's quite common now for public bodies to give you the weightings to the contract. So they'll tell you the award criteria, they'll tell you what weighting's been applied to it. Take it at a high level, you might get told quality's 40%, price is 40%, technical's 20%. Go back and look at the contracts you've actually undertaken before and identify where you've been unsuccessful. Build yourself a matrix, and very quickly you'll find your glass ceiling. If you do a high quality and traditionally high cost solution, you'll find price at some point becomes that glass ceiling. If you do a lower quality and traditionally lower cost solution, then quality may be the one that trips you up. We've done it with some of the things we do, and we've identified certain weightings where after a certain level we won't go after contracts, because after that weighting we know we don't win those opportunities. So there's no point. And again, that comes back into the same equation as your return on investment, making sure you understand where you can be successful and where you're going to fail. So it's something worth looking at. For SMEs, it's very worthwhile to think about partnering. It can deliver so much more. A lot of organisations now contracting into the sectoral and national contracts in Scotland are going down the partnering route. That's how they're being successful. So that figure of 73% going to SMEs, a lot of those companies are not just SMEs on their own, they are SMEs going in joint ventures or partnering arrangements. And you're going in as a group of organisations, and it's worth looking at that in some instances to give you that route into the market. Another area, two sides to this one, subcontracting. If you're not being successful, it's about looking at how you can get in through the subcontracting route, finding larger contractors to subcontract with. It gives you a foothold in the market, it gives you the ability to provide references in the future, it lets you start to build a reputation even as a subcontractor, which can be beneficial in the future for you. One other side of it, if you're going after contracts, and I talked of partnering, be careful that you don't position partner organisations as subcontractors. Some authorities, if you have too much of the contract subcontracted, will actually exclude you from the process, because effectively all they're doing is paying you a management fee. So if you're looking for subcontractors, sometimes it's better to consider positioning them as partners as well. I'll give you an example from one of our clients. They were going after a contract, very large contract in Scotland. They had the capability of delivering into that contract, but they were a small to medium-sized enterprise. There were certain elements they couldn't do. They actually got a public body as a partner. Not only that, having brought the public body on as a partner, and realistically a subcontractor, they convinced them to front the bid, so that they then had the whole financial and reference standing and everything of that authority to go forward as the bidder, and they won the contract. So in terms of partnering, it doesn't have to be private sector. There may be other organisations out there that you can look to. And Glasgow, for example, you've got City Building, you've got Cordia, etc. They exist all over the country. There are organisations out there that you can look to perhaps as partners in some of your bids. Think about how you add value. It's a very big thing in the public sector, and again, it's internally you have to look at it. Too many organisations don't identify the added value they bring to a contract. SMEs in particular, in my experience, are very poor at doing that. They bring a lot of added value, they just don't identify it. It might be something simplistic. You may actually be providing product made from recycled material. You may be using environmentally friendly products. You may be using fair and ethical trade products. It may well be that you take all your packaging back and recycle it so that you're being environmentally aware. There can be 101 different things out there. I had a client in the medical sector who were providing product, weren't winning contracts until they actually identified that as part of their delivery they provided training free of charge because it wasn't identified in their bids. Now they're the biggest player in their marketplace because they're far cheaper and they're far more effective than anyone else. But prior to that, without having an understanding the added value they were bringing to it, they looked an extremely expensive proposition. So you have to think, what added value are we delivering there? I have another client in the furniture business. If you've ever actually had the typist chair and you've got to spend like 20 minutes trying to get the bubble wrap and the cardboard and the plastic and everything else off it, skint knuckles, broken nails and whatnot, they deliver everything wrapped in Hessian. They deliver it on situ and they take the Hessian wraps away and they reuse them. No waste. Massive win. And very popular in the public sector marketplace. That's added value. That's what you're looking for. You need to think about adding value and how you identify that.